let's get into the big games in college going this weekend. We got the Final Four starting on Saturday from Lucas Oil Stadium. And first, we're going to take a look at Wisconsin against Kentucky. Kentucky opened about 4.5, now looking up to 5. Totals come down a little bit from 140 to 139. Kentucky is the 13th team to enter the Final Four without a loss, and the first since UNLV in 1991. 7 of those 12 teams ended up winning the title. I mean, just think about that for a moment. Of the 12 teams that got to the Final Four undefeated, they went on to win the championship, 7-5 record. That's a bit of a surprise to me. I thought they would be a powerhouse and unbeatable, but not quite the case. It's pretty close to 500, so Kentucky needs to keep that in mind. Wildcats are the big story here at 38-0, 8-9-1 spread run of late, but even closer of late. They haven't been covering many games. And they're also playing some defense, 6-2 run under the total. They come off that game against Notre Dame where, boy, Notre Dame played a perfect game to near perfect game. They were incredibly efficient on offense. They attacked Kentucky with crisp passes in the low post. They ended up scoring 40 points in the low post against Kentucky. That was the most Kentucky has allowed all season. And yet, Kentucky defense down the stretch was terrific. They hit a clutch three-pointer and pulled it out. So, Jeff, Kentucky... I wonder if they're going to be caught napping again, or is this Badger team as dangerous potentially as Notre Dame?
Well, they're definitely as dangerous. And Kentucky, if you look at their schedule, they haven't really played a great, really tough schedule. I mean, the SEC was a above-average conference, but they had games where they easily could have lost to some of the worst offensive teams in the country: Texas A&M, Georgia. Ole Miss, they could have lost those games easily, and those teams are not offensive powerhouses. So they ran into Notre Dame, which is an offensive powerhouse, and they were very fortunate to win that game. So Wisconsin the same way. Wisconsin has great three-point shooting, good free throw shooting team, height. They have even a bigger front line than Notre Dame. So this would not be a shock if Wisconsin wins this game outright, and definitely the points I think are very valuable here with Wisconsin. And also, last year, remember Wisconsin barely lost to this team, and all those players came back this year because for one reason, they want to win a championship. So Wisconsin's a very tough team to go against right now, and I would definitely take the points. As of right now, I'm going to take the points of Wisconsin, John.
Well, Wisconsin only has 3 losses on the year. They've been covering games too. 6-3 spread run for a 67-year-old coach, Bo Ryan, just playing terrific basketball right now. And they did lose a senior guard in midseason, Trayvon Jackson. He was 8.6 points per game, and still their top assist leader. So this Wisconsin team, despite only 3 losses, they could be even better with him. But it's the front court that is just so dominant with Kaminsky, Hayes, and Decker. That's how they're going to attack Kentucky. They come off that game against Arizona where it wasn't the defense that did it. The offense was unstoppable, hitting 12 three-pointers, 10 in the second half. Hard to believe they allowed over 55% shooting to Arizona, but they won comfortably. So, Zach, how is Bo Ryan going to attack this unbeaten Kentucky team?
Like you said, this is the matchup that college basketball world wanted, and that's what they're going to get in the Final Four, repeat matchup. I can't believe that Wisconsin's faced their 3rd team that they played in the tournament from a season ago. They played Oregon last year in the tournament, beat them, Arizona again, and then now Kentucky, so you don't really see that too often. But hey, Wisconsin has the momentum right now. Kentucky's a little bit rattled. Anytime you have youth that gets that type of shock that Kentucky did, who knows how they're going to respond. And one other thing with Kentucky is they rotate players in and out so much that they really don't have that go-to player. They play 7 guys 25 minutes a game, and they're really, besides Karl Anthony Towns in that last game, they didn't really have a go-to person. Their guards struggled, and Willie Cauley-Stein and the other big man, Dakari Johnson, and they actually have another good big man, but none of those guys could do anything in the paint. You heard the announcers say they lack true talent because they have no post-up moves. They're just athletes that attack the rim. They're still a strong defensive team, but I have concerns about their young guard play throughout a 40-minute game against a veteran team like Wisconsin. And really, I think the big men are going to be held in check the way that they just were in the last game against Notre Dame. Notre Dame basically, in the last 5 minutes, I think they went too many, ran their offense too much through Jerry and Grant instead of running their offense like they did the whole game. They could have spaced the floor better, and they probably would have scored. They didn't score in the last two and a half minutes because they were running the offense through Jerry and Grant, protecting the ball. I don't think you'll see something like that from Wisconsin. They'll play to win the entire game, especially off that loss last year. So just like Jeff said, I think the value's on Wisconsin. Be a tough game to play with the number provided right now. It's a pretty small number, the smallest number I've seen against Kentucky this season, but sometimes you just have to take value when it's there.
Yeah, well, I'm going to take a look at the total in this one. It's going to be a defensive game. I agree with the line movement here of coming down from 140 to 139. Wisconsin, very efficient on offense, and they can score, but they're still a powerhouse defensive team, tops in the Big Ten, 56.8 points per game. And then you get this Kentucky team. They can play any style. We saw them play more of a slower defensive style against Notre Dame. Keep in mind, Kentucky in non-conference games, 15-3 under the total, so I will take a look at that. Also, you guys are leaning toward Wisconsin here. The underdogs in the Final Four, 15-9-1 spread run.